Yes, I'm very happy and excited to have Sina here today in my podcast. Sina is from Switzerland originally and living in Mexico, and she built her own business. And we want to talk today about how to build a business that is, free from locations, let's say, online free. And then also we will talk about retreats and the benefits of really meeting in person and what is possible with that. So, yeah, hi and welcome, Sina.
Thank you so much for welcoming me. It's an honor to be here, and I am super excited to have some deep talks together.
hmm do you want to start to introduce yourself a bit for the people that don't know you? And also, maybe it's important to say we decided to talk in English today, even though we could speak German, both of us. But it feels like it's a better flow since Sina is living for quite a while now in Mexico already. So English feels more familiar and more in flow. And I think that all of you guys can also understand English. So we decided to go with a language that is flowing the best. So just to give an understanding for that.
Amazing. Thank you for that explanation. And yes, I'm happy to introduce myself. So I'm Sina Simon. I am, as she said, originally from Switzerland, from the German part. And yeah, how it all started, I left about 10 years ago because I just had this deep urge of living close to the ocean. I just knew, okay, this place is not where I'm meant to be. Even though I know it's a really privilege to grow up in Switzerland, there was always this like, no, it's just not mine. It's not where I'm supposed to be. And so that gut feeling always led me to traveling a lot till there came this one day where I really had to take the decision of, okay, it's time to leave for good. And that's when I started solo traveling for a year and then finally ended up in Mexico. And that's where I live now since 9 years on and off. It's been, yes, my home base. And I work online, as she said. So I've been building three different businesses up to this time. And so for now, I've been working as a mindset and business coach for about 5 years. And that alongside also with doing oceanic retreats. So we have a lot actually in common. And that's where I really bring people into my world, where we also dive really deep into subconscious work. I use a lot of somatic practices, just like water therapy and breath work as well, that are really transformative aside of the online work, which we're going to dive into deeper in today's conversation. So
Mhm.
that's about me.
What would you say was the moment where you realized Mexico is the place where you want to build your whole life? I mean, you have a partner there now, you have a baby together now, very fresh. So you have your
Yeah.
own family now. Congrats to that again.
Thank
um,
you.
so what kind of feeling was it when you were like solo traveling around the world? And then what made it so special to say, hey, it's gonna be Mexico? What was this feeling, or how did you?
A really good question. I love the fact that you highlight feeling because yes, I believe home is a feeling and it's not really a
Mhm.
location. So that's why also I mentioned on and off. Like I've been living in different places in between. I've been, also living several times on sailing boats in different destinations, a while almost a year in Canada, but on and off I always came back to Mexico. And yeah, what this place for me, what makes it feel so special and nourishing is the culture, but especially the community. And I think, of course, like Mexico is a massive country, it's so big. But the place where we are in the Caribbean, it's the Caribbean. You can imagine like that tropical lifestyle is what I was craving the most. It just feels like time goes slower, like when I
Mhm.
think of Switzerland, people are constantly in a rush. It's like, okay, the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. But it doesn't feel like people actually take the time to be fully present, where that's what I really loved so much on the tropical lifestyle. I feel like tropical countries, you arrive and you just feel that sense of vacation that comes from being fully present and people just not rushing through you. You just have time for everything. And so that's one thing that I loved. Definitely, like it just, I think it's the best for the nervous system. Just feel relaxed and at ease. And from that base, we are connected to our intuition, to source energy, to creativity, to everything that brings life. That's what I believe. And the other thing is really the people, the community here, the culture. Like everyone just feels like family. It's so funny, for example, now that our baby boy was born in January, everyone, we're like, we have like 100 tias and tios, which means uncles and
Mm-hmm.
aunts, because everyone
Honestly.
that's close to you just feels like family. Um, because here I feel like really the meaning that family is people just loving each other unconditionally and being there for each other, supporting each other rather having the same blood. And that's something I love too. Like you can tell people are just so open minded, love to connect, and you can actually count on them. It's not a surface level connection, it's actually a deep connection, but it feels easy to, yes, be yourself, to not be judged, to be understood. And so I think that was what made me feel so home here. It felt so easy to found to, yeah, have roots and to build a community, to be surrounded by people that give you life, I would say. And of
Beautiful.
course the ocean. The ocean here is just,
The ocean,
let me
yes.
actually
Yes.
highlight this, because Mexico, I think, is the only country in the world that has four different seas, which I think is
Mm. Wow.
mind blowing. So we have the Caribbean Sea, the Gulf of Mexico, the Pacific, and the Sea of Cortez. So I'm just mind blown by that. So as an ocean lover, it's like, no, it's a freaking paradise here.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I can fully relate on that one for 100%, 100%, like with the ocean part. Um,
Yeah.
I think for the people who are listening, maybe it's also interesting, as for some people it would be hard to be so far away from their own family, like original family. How do you manage that?
Mm. Yeah, that's definitely a hard part. Like I think missing your family and being far away, especially now with, with my kid, where I would love to be close to his grandparents. Definitely it's something that's not always easy. But at the end, I think everyone is living their life, everyone is busy. And so if 90% you live in your own family, for yourself, that's what needs to be the place that nourishes you the most and gives you the most energy. So I think it's just like sacrificing, and that can be different for everyone, right? One of my biggest values is freedom. And so for me, I just feel so much more alive in a place that makes me feel so free, rather than in a place where I feel connected to my roots. Where for other people that can be different, right? Where the biggest value is family, then they might not feel aligned with that, and that's totally fine.
Yeah. And so they come and visit you, or are you guys going from once in a while to Switzerland? How is the balance? How are you going to do that?
Yeah, that's also a good question. Honestly, actually, the first 4 years I've never went back, because
Mm-hmm.
I have this fear, and maybe some people listening are going to relate to this. Like when you start traveling, you just feel like you're developing this new version of yourself, this new identity. And so when all of a sudden you have like that feeling of, I need to go back to who I was before, and to that you have like almost a fear of everything you've built up, that new mindset, that new way of seeing life, you get just caught up into the old again. So that was my big fear that I had, and that's why I was avoiding it actually for 4 years, till finally I realized, okay, no, I have my new home base. I'm going there for vacation to enjoy, but I get to come back here again. I'm not going to be just stuck there and getting back to my old life. So once that really dropped, that understanding, I actually went to Switzerland after 4 years, loving it so much from a tourist perspective, like finally
Mm-hmm.
sawing it through the eyes of someone who sees it from, for a vacation. So it was not, my view of Switzerland now is like, wow, what a beautiful place, what a beautiful country. Where before I was just tied to the lifestyle and the stress somehow. And to your question though, after these 4 years now, I try to go once a year, which is really
Mm-hmm.
nice. And also my family has come to visit me. So yeah.
Nice.
See.
How would you say did it affect, like, I don't want to go all the time into this topic, but I think it's very interesting for people who are listening and maybe also evaluating for themselves in the moment if it's the right step for them to do, to move abroad. I mean, obviously, this what we are talking about is your experience, my experience. It doesn't matter. Like everybody else can do whatever they feel like, because I believe in it's always inspiring to listen, but in the end, everyone creates their own path which fits best to their own benefits and needs. But I mean, I think it's still interesting. Like, would you say you have in Mexico? What kind of nationality are your friends mostly? Like, are they mostly Mexican, or is it a mix of European and whatever? Like, how is the mix with your friends
Yeah.
right now?
Oh, if I would say all, like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. totally, we call it here chilaquil, which is a breakfast from Mexico, which is like just a mix. So
Mhm.
honestly, yes, like everything. I have lots of Mexican friends, but also lots of Europeans, Canadians, Americans. Like you find everything here. And again, it depends on the state where you are, but here specifically, which is more kind of like these digital nomad type of places. Um, it's funny, like it's really hard to find a local here. So where I live in
Mhm.
Playa del Carmen, it's really rare that someone tells you they are from here, the roots. And
Mhm.
so therefore even the Mexicans are not from here. So even the Mexicans are coming from another place. And that's why I think it's so easy for people to make family and to get friends so easily, because lots of people come here alone. They're like kind of like the black sheeps of their family, or from the crowd. And then yeah, there's such a deep understanding for that, and you connect easily. So but yeah, your question, like everything, honestly.
Mhm.
Really interesting beings that, yeah, that are here. Like everyone just has such an interesting story, and I think it takes
Mhm.
bravery to move to a different place. So saying that, as just said, I think it's like 95% of people living here are not from here. So it's
Mhm.
really brave, interesting people that you meet from all type of places.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that because I mean I was also living for roughly like 5 years in a row in Portugal, and there
Wow.
was a lot of expats, but also I've been a lot with locals. From the free
Nice.
diving club I was in, and also from the places where I lived. So it was a wild mix, and it does make a big difference in mindset wise as well. That's true, because everyone
Really?
went somehow through a similar phase. Let's say there's like you arrive in a new country, you're like hyped, like wow, amazing, oh my god, this is beautiful, and then realizing after a while, okay, this is reality now.
Yes.
It's not all euphoria all the time, and then realizing also the parts like, oh my god, I miss my family, like all these points, or the bread. I was
Mhm.
missing the bread, the German bread.
Same here. Oh my God, so much.
um,
Yes.
and it seems to be small things, but in the end a bread is a big culture in Germany, like a good bread
Yes, same.
it is a feeling, like the food and the culture itself and stuff. And it's very true what you're saying regarding also valuing the own country more again. I mean,
Mhm.
last year I moved back to Germany because mainly because of my family, health
Mm.
wise, and I have to say that I was enjoying the winter time, where I was like,
Mm.
wow, what's happening with me? Before I was always like, winter time, I'm out. I will travel to the most southern places, the best, the more tropical, the better. And I was
Mm.
really enjoying the snow. I was enjoying going to the
Oh,
sauna and the spa here, because it's very different to other places, other countries
nice.
here.
The best spas in
Um,
Germany, yes.
yeah, and the food, and like I was so
Mm.
happy to be next to my family, having a 10 minutes drive rather than flying three
Mm.
hours in my case with Portugal. So yeah. um what would you say is the ocean for you? I mean, I think this is a very big question, but I think it's the topic where we connect and relate the most, where we resonate the most. So I think it's very interesting regarding like what is the ocean for you, especially.
Ah, I mean, it's a source of life. I think for me, yeah, it feels like home. Like no matter what type of ocean, it calls me always. And yeah, it was literally the main reason why I don't see myself, and who knows, things can change, but I don't see myself living in Switzerland because the ocean is missing. Like honestly, I cannot imagine not living by the ocean, by the waters. Um, so yeah, I think it's a life force energy for me. It just feels like it gives, yeah, the moment I connect with water in any type of way, it's like life force energy is activated. So it's like a gasolina station,
Mhm.
a gas station for happiness, for joy, for energy, for yes. What about you? How would you answer this question yourself?
I think life source energy is a very beautiful definition of it, to make it short. I feel somehow as if I'm trapped on land. I don't know how to say it properly in English now, but as if I don't belong on the land, if I'm too long on the dry. It's so weird. Like as if I was a sea mammal, like a marine mammal in my previous life or something. It's like once I touch the ocean, I feel like, oh, I'm home. I feel so much more ease and like
Mm.
I don't know. The ocean for me is very deep passion, very, very deep passion. It's like something that I also like since I live here now. I always go there every several weeks because otherwise, no way that I'm gonna survive on that. It's like either I go to Portugal or even I figured out some places here in Germany now as well at the ocean. Rügen, actually, it's like a very beautiful half island that has a very
Mm.
similar coastline from the pictures,
Wow.
let's say, to Portugal actually. Even though it's obviously totally different, like the structure of the whole place is different than Portugal, obviously. But when I was there in the ocean, I felt like like so
Mm.
relieved and I don't know.
Coming home.
Yeah, coming home. It's like that. It's like it has been like this since I'm small, always already. I can't explain why. My brother doesn't like it that much. We're two, and it's like I don't know. We both started swimming classes when we were small, and I absolutely loved it. And he was like, I'll do the swimming just to be prepared to be able to swim, but then get me out of here, mom. Like he was like, don't let me here. And
Oh, I love that.
so I don't know, but with me it was like first the swimming, then surfing later on, then scuba diving and free diving. It's like a whole evolution,
Mm.
a whole transformation with all the water sports also. And yeah,
So
it's a very
beautiful.
special. And I mean, also when you have a look at the planet, most parts of it are covered by the ocean. And also our bodies are like having a big percentage of water inside of us. So it's when we're crying salt water, basically. Like it's and for me also this like tears are such a relief, like as if the system is just letting go and like cleansing itself. So it's very interesting. It's like as if the whole body is part, like as if the ocean is a part of our body as well. That's how I feel about it. Yeah.
I love it. I use this also actually a lot to explain how actually I think it's not a coincidence that yes, the earth is covered by about 70% of water and so
Mhm.
is our body made of almost 70% even more of water. So it's just such similarity and also I think it's oftentimes it's there is characteristics who don't naturally feel that drawn to, but I think at the end it's really about remembering that connection to water that everyone in some level have because we come from water, right? Like we are
Mhm.
water plus we actually all come from water. That's how our journey starts. So yeah, I think it's just such a powerful element. And I also love that metaphor that you just shared with the tears. 100% agree. I think water is also, it's an element that teaches surrender, flow, um, allowing as well a lot. So I love it also. I actually use water a lot for manifestation practices as well. And also for, yes, what you just said, emotional release, like the water therapy that I do as a yes, in my work as well, it's exactly that. It's allowing people to just get into such a deep state of relaxation so they can get out of their mind and into the body. And also knowing as we are water, water is basically what holds memories and emotions, and so it's so powerful to work with water. It's just, yeah, an incredible element.
And I mean, it's not just the ocean itself, it's also what's living in the ocean that is even more attractive, like even more interesting. And I mean, there's a whole
Yes.
world down there, it's as if there's another world than up here. Like it's magical. I
Yeah.
mean, when I had my first encounters with bigger animals underwater, I was like, oh my God, wow. Like this is such a
Yeah.
I think everybody that has ever experienced this can totally relate to that. I mean, my biggest aha moment was with the humpback whales themselves. Like I
Mm.
felt so deeply connected that I was
Yes.
wondering myself, like, what is going on here? Because first I thought, oh my God, I will be overwhelmed by emotions seeing them. But I felt so calm and so peaceful and so
Mhm.
connected that I was like, hi guys, as if it's like, hi guys, like as if I knew them for a long time already. And
Mm.
it's so special because I have this belief that we can have these soul connections also with animals somehow. Especially, I mean, whales are very energetic animals. They can sense. I mean, their songs travel for kilometers to
Beautiful.
like communicate with each other, and yeah, it's very special, I feel, and yeah, that's something I totally love about that.
Oh, I think so too. I remember when we were sailing, crossing the Caribbean Sea. We were sailing from the Bahamas to Panama, and the captain said this one phrase. Let me see if I remember correctly, but I just felt it was so good. And he was saying something like, if people who have not explored the ocean basically don't know almost anything about the world, because of what we just said, like 70% of the world is actually ocean. So if you haven't crossed the sea, or if you haven't been underwater, it's kind of like, just a tiny freaking part of the world,
Hmm.
right? So that always stick to me, and I think so too. Like the underwater world is just, wow, a whole new dimension, and it just puts you in such a different perspective of, yeah. And I think that's why everyone just automatically feels close to the water. There's this theory called the blue mind as well, where, yeah,
Yes.
automatically close to the water we feel relaxed. And
Hmm.
yes.
It's
So
interesting that you're mentioning this now with the blue mind. It's actually whenever I'm sitting on a boat, and it's not just me, I heard from many people this already. The mind is getting more creative. It's like I always
yes.
need almost a little notebook with me when I'm out in the sea on the boat. And I just watch the horizon, and somehow my head is like having channels coming in, like boom, 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 and having creative ideas is crazy. Like, I had this on many occasions where I was like having the best aha moments on the sea, actually.
Mhm. I agree with
And
you.
this is so funny because I mean my business is called Merle Aid, so it's also like a word game with a mermaid. And with you
Mm.
and my name, and with you, you're all also having your ocean, your business very connected with the ocean. I think this is not a miracle, because it's like as if this is the source of everything, basically. Like, the work is somehow, I feel, very influenced by the ocean somehow. Even the coaching itself, the tools, like, because the ocean is something that is very unknown still. And some people, I was never that aware about it, because for me it's so normal to just jump in the open sea. But for some people, this is their biggest, like, frightening moment. They're like, oh my God, I don't know what's underneath. How can I jump in there? And I feel in the coaching, it's also like this. I do hypnosis with my clients. So we go in the unknown. We are digging deep into the topics that are underneath the surface. So, and I think you're also like this, right? You're not on the surface, you're going right in. So it's like, I think the whole coaching itself is very related to the ocean.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, I use this metaphor a lot as well, like comparing the mind to the ocean, where what you said, like on the surface level, it can be rough, it can be, it doesn't feel as clear, and it's just like holy moly overwhelmed. But then the moment you dive within, and that's when it gets clear, when the clarity appears. And so the same with the mind. Yes, absolutely. The answers lie really deep within
Yeah,
there, not on the
yeah.
surface. And how to bring it up to the surface, that's, yeah, again, like that water actually itself is a really good tool, but also there's so many subconscious programming tools we can use, just as hypnosis, yes, or
Hmm.
breath, to bring it to the
Oh
surface. So
yes,
I think it's
right.
fascinating. And I love the fact how you shared about, in the water, how it's just natural that we get these downloads, which again, I think it's downloads come when we A, feel good, when we're in a high frequency, and B, when our mind gets to calm down. So
Mm.
when we're going from beta into more alpha, and that happens when we're present. So in the ocean, it's like, in general in nature, but I think the ocean, yes, has something magical where, again, like, you automatically relax, your mind gets clear, and that's why we all of a sudden are receptive to information that have been waiting to come our way, that we're meant to receive to get to where we're supposed to be. And so I love that idea. And honestly, also about, creativity awakened, there's also this saying, and I've experienced it myself as well. When you sleep in the ocean, so when I was living on sailing boats, I had the wildest dreams. Like I would wake up and just be like, wow, another science fiction movie I just have have a script for. It was insane. So yeah, it's interesting what it does. And yeah, so that I just remembered that.
And I feel almost it's like I don't know, when I remind myself about how I moved to Portugal and also how I started my diving, it was all an invitation.
Mm.
Like it was so magical somehow, you know. I was never planning to start diving actually. Like I was surfing. I was happy with surfing. And then a diving
Mm.
school asked me to work with them. And I said no. Because I was like, no, I'm not gonna sit in
Yeah.
the office there. I'm not gonna change from one office to the other, seeing the ocean in front and not being able to be in the water. No way that I'm doing that. And then they said, okay, fine, but what do you want to do for us? Like, how can we find a
Mira.
good deal here? And I said, okay, I'll do your social media. And besides to that, I started my own coaching business. So it's like, it was so magical because from day one, they said basically, Melly, you're going to try one dive. And if you love it, we keep going. If not, it's fine. We never stopped, you know, eight
Wow, I
months
love
in a row.
that.
We did open
Oh,
water
what a
dive
beautiful
master,
story.
boom, all of it, you know. I was like, no, I don't want to stop anymore. And the most funny part was like I started to coach with an agency back in the days as a freelancer, and I was listed on the landing page. And every time we went in the ocean, I got requests in, and it was like boom, 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 clients coming in on the ocean. And it was like I was every time like, yay, new client, new client. And the people on the boat were also like, oh my god, yay. And it
Oh,
was
I
so
love it.
special. I remember I had my first call, because obviously after request there's always this first talk, if the energy is matching, if the chemistry is fine, and if
Mhm.
I can help them with their needs. I mean, you have the same probably. And I was in my diving wetsuit in the backyard of the diving school. We had to turn off the compressors to refill the tanks, that I could hear the talk, and had my first clients talk in my wetsuit basically.
Oh my god, I love it. This is the best.
And it was a clear yes from both sides, and we were like, yeah, let's do it, okay, fine, amazing. And it's like, and it was so funny somehow, like, and all my clients, they were loving it, that I was diving in the morning, and if in the afternoon I was coaching them in my very beginning. And it was the best ever. Like it was very, very, very nice, very fulfilling. So
Oh, what an amazing experience. I love
mhm,
that.
yeah.
Oh, I
um
see. Yeah, it's a place, it's a portal to manifest as well. I agree. If that's clients, if that's, if that's even love, if that's opportunities, travels, trips, like materials, I also used it always as a portal to manifest. I still do, the water in general. So yeah, I
yeah,
think it's freaking powerful.
it is, yeah. How would you say this sailing? How was the sailing coming into your life? Because you mentioned that this was your beginning of all these travels, right? And also you did retreats on the sailing boat, or you're still doing retreats. What
Yes.
makes it so special for you, the sailing boat itself?
Ah, it's a good question. I think sailing boats are just, the type of people who live this lifestyle. They're like, again, like the biggest value is freedom. So they're just so cut off of the system and the norm and what feels natural, that they can, move with the wind. They can eat from the sea. They can, yeah, get vitamin from the sun. It's just like such a how do you say, self-sufficient lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
but also a life that's, it's really not easy, don't take me wrong, but it's just so unique that also the community there, it's so freaking powerful. But for me, it's just like a sense of freedom that you cannot get in any other way, that way, like in sailing. I don't know, it's something, you just get to go to this space. I remember I went one time, I was living on a sailing boat in Ibiza, and it was summer, so I don't know if you've been there in summer, but it's crowded, it's one of the most famous holiday islands in Europe. And so when you go to a public beach, it's just, you can't even see the sand almost. But then when you're living on a sailing boat, you get to go to all these special bays and caves, and yes, where no one else can reach. And so that's for me the magic of sailing. Like it gets you to explore places. We went to this one place in Panama, which I think almost no one knows about this place, but it was one of the most special, most beautiful places I've ever got to meet. It was like from a movie, from a document. It was insane. Like there were just like trees and like trees growing on corals and rocks, and there were like crystal clear blue rivers going in all between, and then you had all the palm trees, and you would just go with the little dinghy between, yes, that crystal clear water and nature and the birds, and it was just insane, and so much life underneath by around the corals. It was just like, what is this place? Like paradise. And again, it was like 8 hours, I think, from the mainland to sail. So it's really rare. Like you cannot go there by a day trip. You really need to go overseas, like in a, how do you say, um, liverboard.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's one of the things, like that excitement of getting to reach places that are almost untouched. It's something so, so special about sailing, where you just get to have like that sense of real freedom of, yeah, being disconnected from signal, from people, from anything. And so yeah, and also there you get to, oh my god, see wildlife, but not in a way where, okay, you go to a tourist spot and you go where everyone is going. Rather, so it really feels like wildlife is choosing you, right? Because you're in the middle of nowhere, and all of a sudden these dolphins come up to you, the orcas. Like it happened to me once. I was just talking yesterday to my partner about the most special moments in life, and one of these were when I was in a kayak being towed behind a sailing boat, and 6 orcas showed up and were
Oh,
just
wow.
next to me. I mean, this is something where there was no one. It was sunset. And it was like the evening, and just like the most surreal moment where you're like, what the heck? Another moment I also shared with him where we were sailing at night and dolphins came to the boat, and you would just see their silhouette through the bioluminescence. And I was like, how can this
Wow,
even be
yeah.
real? Like, I feel like in a Disney movie, or an
Mm-hmm.
Avatar.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it really, like, yeah, it just brings you to moments that are really like impossible to experience through tourist tours, or yeah, normal
100%. I
ways.
mean, I think just regarding ocean stories, we could record several episodes basically. Because I
Same.
can totally I can remind myself of so many special moments where I was just like, wow, like our mind, I mean my mind would have never been able to think of
Grasp and
moments
yeah.
like these, you know, like. And but I remember one which was very beautiful. I was in Tonga to French Polynesia to dive with humpback whales and or swim with them, and we were on a boat with a local from Tonga, and that was like a skipper. That, like, the skipper is the guy that is driving the boat, for the people who don't know what is a skipper. And he was sitting on the top of the roof of the ship and was steering there. And he told us so many stories. And this guy was above his 70s, 70. And
Wow.
he was telling, yeah, like lots of times people come from New Zealand or Australia with a sailing boat over, and then they're too lazy to go all the way back. So then they leave it with us and we bring it back. And I was like, oh my God, wow. And I was like, how do you navigate and how do you do this? And he said, like, navigation, honestly, the stars. I was like, okay.
Wow.
So basically,
That's
he
next
said
level.
in Tonga itself, I don't know precisely right now, but there's more than 100 islands just in Tonga itself. Not all of them are inhabited, but still, like, they are a lot. So there, he said, this is like his pocket, like his how do you say, like his wallet, you know, like he knows
Mm.
by head where
Amazing.
everything is. But with New Zealand, he said, yeah, it takes some time, but he's always watching the stars and the constellations and a paper card. And because he said
Wow.
electricity, like all the electricity can switch off, but the paper card will never disappoint you. And I was like,
That's
oh
true.
my God, like, and I
Crazy.
was so impressed by that. I was like, oh my God. For me, it's like, imagine just being here on the streets having a paper card, and even then I can feel lost, to be honest. Like, I really love my Google Maps. Um, but it's like, yeah, I was so impressed by that. And I could really feel that this guy lived his entire life in the ocean, basically. and felt
Wow,
so
that
deeply
is
rooted and
fascinating.
connected with the nature. It was very impressive.
Oh my God, I would love to have a conversation with this
Mm-hmm.
senior and asking all the questions. That must be fascinating.
Yeah, because it's like a whole wisdom book with them. Talking with
Mm.
them is like as if you are talking with such a wise old soul. That's why I was really happy when I was speaking finally fluent Portuguese as well. When you can finally talk with all the old fishermen, they have stories to
That's
tell.
so
Wow,
nice.
it's like it's very beautiful to hear their stories. They use also plants
Wow.
to clean their hands and stuff. There's a fisherman fennel. The plant is called fisherman fennel, and they use it when they were fishing and having like this fishy smell. They're using the fennel to just wash
Mira,
it, and
I
it's
love
like
it.
lemon citron smell, and yeah, it's very very special. Like all of the ocean. So yeah, I think
Mm.
the listeners can really relate and feel how we both love the ocean. But what would you say when it comes to retreats in themselves? I mean, you have hosted already several retreats. For me now in July, it will be my very first retreat, and I also can't
Mm.
wait to do it. But what would you say made you decide to do a offline retreat where you have all the people on the boat or like
Yeah.
basically with you?
Honestly, in my case, it was just what we talked about, like all the magic that we just talked about, the water and being in nature, being disconnected. I think that's when we get to really, get downloads that really like connect to our higher self, connect to our inner being, to infinite potential and wisdom that really brings us to where we want to go. So, in general, I think that's just what I wanted to share. For me, creating a life that I'm so freaking obsessed with and I can't wait to wake up every single day had to do with putting myself in this situation and connections in order to get the downloads and, the intuitive callings step by step to get me to where I'm supposed to be and just to trust that to flow. And so that was one thing. I was just like, after living so many experiences on sailing boat, I was like, more people need to feel this so that they can really know what it means to be fully alive. And also using that aliveness and that freaking high level energy of feeling so good and just so in the moment to create, to manifest, to, you know, basically reprogram themselves for a whole different reality that they're meant to live. So when I had this experience, I was like, okay, I need to bring this to the world. And so that's when it started. Honestly, for me, it was just like people need to live this in like in life. And then little by little, I also started to, learning more practices, somatic tools like the water therapy, the breath work, which I think it's just these tools, it's just, yeah, so much more powerful than what you can do through a screen.
Mm.
And it really is transformational. I think we both work with, you do hypnosis. In my case, I also do hypnosis, but like in general, subconscious reprogramming. I think if you want to change who you are on a core, up level your identity to a new reality you want to create, you need to put yourself in a new environment if you want to make it easier for you. Because if you're doing the same routine every single day, if you're surrounded by the same surroundings every single day, shifting who you are is so freaking difficult because you're literally living in programming. So you live in in all automatic mechanism that you don't even realize you're living by. And so basically just going out of that, giving you a whole new white blank sheet to create from and remembering who you are and who you came here to be. I think that's the most powerful thing and the most beautiful gift you can give to yourself.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's it's what you said, like it's getting out of the environment that you used to be every day, jumping into a whole new world. And then with these new abilities, with these new experiences coming back and then integrating it in the daily life again. I think that's the magic behind it. And it's like
Exactly.
yeah, it's very special. I mean, there has been moments in my life where without that I realized that I took the fear against the ocean from people. I remember myself, I was in Sardinia in Italy on an island, and I was hosted by a Italian woman, and she told me like we can do whatever kind of trips, but I'm not going to touch the ocean. And I was like, I totally respect that, but I have to go in the ocean. The water in Sardinia is crystal
Wow.
clear. Like, I was like, I have to go there. It is like drawing me in. I have to. There is no choice. I'm sorry. And she was like, no, don't worry. I'm waiting at the bay. So I went in the ocean, but I went with so much passion that it didn't took more than 5 or 10 minutes, and I was hearing some splashes behind me, and I was turning around, and she was in the ocean. I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, I don't know what I'm doing. My head just
Aw.
switched off, and I just went for it because my intuition taught me to do so. And this woman was at that time, I think, around her 30 something. She hasn't touched the ocean since she was a child, because she had a bad experience when she was a child. And
Wow.
it was crazy. And since that, she was always
Aw.
sending me selfies in the ocean. And
Wow.
so that showed me itself that once you live your passion, you can inspire and heal so many people around you. And I think that is why our work is so important as well. It's like, once someone lives their passion, like, this is the way to go. You have to live your purpose, figure out, like, to everyone that is listening, figure out your purpose and go for it, not just for yourself but also for your environment, because
Mm.
it's like so healing for everybody to follow the heart. And yeah, it's very special. And later on, I got asked to give water coachings, also in Portugal, from a woman. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. Why not? So we did really like trauma healing in the water. It was basically that we were sitting in the pool, because I said, okay, we start in the pool, later on we go in the ocean. And she was crying everything out in the water. And step by step, slowly, we did inner child work, which I learned to do. And then in the end, she was swimming like a fish in the water, and she was jumping from the edges
Mm.
in the water. And yeah, seeing this, was also a grown-up woman, 38 years old, was magical. Like,
Of course.
and
Yeah.
I think this is,
Transformative.
yeah, absolutely. And I think this is the thrive, like the why, because people ask often, like, what is the why of your work? I mean, I think this is the why. Seeing people transforming and being more free and happy than ever, this is something that is very special. Yeah.
So beautiful. Yes. It honestly is transformative to water. I cannot even, yes, like there's so many stories of, yeah, like how one a week can change your whole freaking life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, when you're doing these sailing trips, how do people prepare for that? Have they been before on a boat, or are they there the very first time, or
I've been
how?
having it all,
Mhm.
honestly. There have been people who are afraid of water and just want to, take a challenge. And there have been people who are mermaids. And then there have been people who are like, okay, like I'm afraid that I get seasick. I've never been on a boat, but also I love the ocean. So I think it's going to be fine. So there have been all type of backgrounds. Um, but yeah, honestly, so far, it's always only been positive experiences.
Mhm.
It happens like depending on the conditions, that someone can get seasick, but it's really rare because also obviously there's tools for that as well. I always say like chew ginger, don't drink coffee, like there's simple rules that are going to already help. And also usually like our routes and where we're going into the ocean, we always adjust it to the conditions and yeah, the weather forecast. So to be in base that are always protected. So honestly, I've never had problems. um yeah, I think either someone is just gonna face their fears on the next level and comes out transformed, or someone is just gonna take their connection to the ocean to the whole next level and also comes out transformed.
Either way, yeah, 100%. I think it's also very, when it comes to intuition, I think this is a big thing as well, like the ocean, because you have like either this drawn towards the ocean, or like maybe also a big respect towards it, and both is totally fine, I think, because I mean the ocean is one of the biggest elements we have on this planet, and we
We
should
should have
all
respect from
respect.
it, yes.
Yes, because the currents are strong, the
100%.
tides can rise, like it's very like it's an element that is totally out of our hands. And you mentioned before in the podcast about surrendering, and this is 100% happening in the ocean, because it's none of
I
our
cannot
it's
fight it.
out of our control fully. And I think that makes it so special as well, you know, because
100%.
people like to control, like to know how it's going all, but with the ocean you never know. Like, it's okay, you have a forecast, yes, maybe you can check the forecast, but in the end it's like it's
Exactly. And
life
that's what
that's
makes it
happening.
magical. The same with wildlife, right? Like you can say, okay, hopefully we're going to see this type of animals, but at the end, it's wild. And that's the beauty about it. So you can be surprised with something you never even expected, or you can also have a day where you should be just appreciative about every fish you're going to spot. So, yeah, I think that's the beauty of nature, right? You're not going to go to a zoo. There isn't the
Yeah,
promise, but there is the magic, that
yeah,
space
and I
of
think
limitless potential.
what you said about gratitude is a very big key, because it's like whatever shows up is just fine, you know, like,
Yes.
and being in this awe moment is like, oh my god, wow, like whatever comes, it's just beautiful. So it's, and also what I heard even with whales, for example, is they're attracted to our energy. So it's like, when I was in Tonga or French Polynesia in general, Tahiti, Moorea, there were moments where there were no whales showing up, even though they were all around. We knew it. And then there were moments where they were all so many around us, where I was like, holy moly, what's happening here right now? So it's
Mm.
like, it's really also that they're feeling our energy, because we're all beings in the end, and they're sensing that as well, actually. And most people, I
Holy moly,
think,
yes,
are
they
not
are
aware of
are
that. Mm.
vibrationally on a much higher level than we are. We say they are in the seventh
Yes.
dimension. We're just
Yeah.
moving from the third to the fifth. So yes, they are
100%.
really, really sensitive to energy. And I
Mm-hmm.
believe so too. Like I always say, the group you're with on a boat makes a big difference on what you're going to spot. I remember I was working also as a tour guide for a while here in Ribera Maya in a national park called Siancan. And was the opportunity to see crocodiles and dolphins and turtles. And I always told the people, no worries, you're with me. You're going to see everything today.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, no, every 100%. We always saw them, which I was so thankful for because at the end it makes them happy. Um, but yeah, I really, there's also what I share a lot. Like also when I was working as a dive master, it happened to me so many times where I was so excited to share things, and we came up from the dive. I'm like, oh my god, did you saw the turtle? And we're like, no. Did you saw the eagle ray? No. And it's like, how could they not see it? But at the end, yeah, it's what you're open for and your energy attracts. I
Yeah.
definitely believe so much in, yes, like wildlife. It's a gift, but as you said, it starts all with gratitude. If you're and I think we're both this type of people where you just shared from Sardinia. If you already get excited just about the water itself,
Yes,
that's
that is
when
the
the
thing.
wildlife shows up.
Yes.
Where if you're just going with the expectation, I
Uh-huh.
need to see something, and you're already in a vibration of lack. So that's when oftentimes, that's what you're going to experience. So I think
And that, yeah,
always just be present and enjoy, no matter what you're going to see.
100%. And this is also a beautiful metaphor for life, actually, because it feels to me as if you're aware about all the opportunities in life, about all the chances, about all the doors that can
Yes.
open for you. It's like, I remember in my dive master apprenticeship, we had one task to sit in the dive school, which was full of clutter of stuff like books, diving books, and all these machines and this and that. And we would have to sit there with that 180 degrees circle, watching and trying to remember as much as we could in our brain, and then close the eyes, and then telling and picturing like, okay, I see on the left side there's this, there's that. And then they even ask us
Wow.
questions like, what do you see on the right side? Yeah, I think there was this and that. And then they mention like, do you see the red whatever camera? And then you're like, red camera, not sure. And then you open again and you re-observe everything and close the eyes again. And it was so interesting how the focus was more and more and more clear, how the memory was like as if it
Wow, I
was
love that.
updating every time. And once I was in the ocean, that I mean, I learned all my diving skills for scuba in Sagres in the Algarve, So there's a lot of micro life going on, like nudie branches
Oh,
and
I love nudie
octopus and
branches.
squids and
Mm.
cuttlefish and lobsters and morays, all kind of smaller stuff, let's
So
say,
nice.
but very beautiful. And lots of them are very good in camouflage, especially octopus, cuttlefish, everybody who ever saw them, maybe even in the movies, with this octopus, my teacher. And so I had this moment where I was so focused always to see an octopus. I was like, I'm going to show my clients the octopus. I'm going to, everywhere I was spotting the octopus. It was crazy. And then my teacher told me once, like she said, like, okay, Merle, octopus are beautiful, but this is not the entire ocean life of octopus, okay? So I was like, okay. And it's really crazy what our mind is doing when once we have a focus on something. I was spotting so many octopus. And then later on, I
I
was
love
zooming
it.
myself out and seeing, okay, what do I see now that I don't just see the octopus, but also other different interesting species. And this is like in life as well,
I love that
Um,
so much. What a beautiful metaphor.
yeah, I think everyone can
100%.
relate to this in so different ways. It can be very
Mhm.
simple, like buying a new, I don't know, hoodie, in a blue new hoodie, and finally you just see blue hoodies all around. Like, and this is
Exactly.
how manifestation also works, because finally you are like rewiring your mindset towards this totally new world, new opportunities that were not there before. Like, and maybe this was in front of you all the time, but you were never recognizing it. So it's like, I think this is also something that I learned through the ocean even more in real life. Like to really see these opportunities, being like, oh my God, wow, look at this. And others are like, where? I don't see it. Look at it, like it's just in front of you. But it depends on the mind, how open you are with that, if you're able to see it. Like, I have one
Yeah.
more very interesting story. I have to share this. I was in when I was on the half island Rügen in Germany some weekends ago. I was sitting in the bus and going to the top of the mountain to go through a little hike through the national forest there, and to end up. It's actually all across the ocean. The coastline is very beautiful.
Mm.
It's a national park. It's called Jasmund, and it's all trees. And then you have the cliff. It's very beautiful. So we were sitting in this bus, and everyone was on their smartphones, and I was like, "Holy moly!" And I was looking outside of the window, just watching the trees passing by. And then there was a moment where I was focusing with my eyes. In that moment, there was a reindeer, and
Oh,
it was really like catching the same path, like the same speed than the bus, more or less. So it was like a
wow.
moment where you were like, zoop, and I was like, holy moly. And that was so magical. I mean, everybody who knows Twilight felt like Twilight, And I was like, wow. And I was looking around. Nobody saw it. Nobody saw it. Everyone was focusing on their phones, and I was like, oh dear. And
Oh
and it
dear.
was exactly,
Dear,
oh
that was just
dear.
a deer.
And it was so beautiful, like this moment. And there has been so many of these with like stargazing, with like
Mm.
shooting stars and stuff. And I
Wow.
think if you as a listener take one thing out of this podcast, is be more present in the moment, like observe the nature, um, and
Yeah.
and go with like so much gratitude that you're overflowing, and that everything is an add-on that is coming on top.
Mm. I
I
love
think that
that.
is
Yes.
very important.
Yeah, that's how you're in a receptive mode. I
Yeah,
love them.
100%.
Mm.
Nice. What would you say? What would you give as an advice to one of the listeners that is maybe in a situation where they're like, oh, I can relate to this, but I'm afraid to do it. I don't know. What if I don't find friends if I move abroad? Or what if I don't know, start my business and then, oh my God, what's next? Like, what kind of advice would you give to someone that is still a bit in doubt, let's say? Because I mean, we all know these moments. It's totally
Mhm.
human. But how do you specifically deal with that?
honestly, if that desire constantly shows up, that's your future self calling you. I always say if there's a desire that just feels so exciting, that's your heart telling you where to go. And the fact that fear is coming up, that's a green light. That's good. If it wouldn't come up, it wouldn't matter to you. And so I always say fear is allowed to be there, and it's totally fine. You have these doubts and it's natural. It would actually be weird if you wouldn't have fears and doubts. But it's a matter of just not letting it drive the car, but putting it in the back seat. And it's like, okay, I got you, I hear you, and that's fine, but we're still going to go for it, because the worst thing that can happen is we're going to come back. And so I think, yeah, that's the main thing. I can, like, don't let fear ever stop your dreams, because fear is it's intellectual, meaning we make it up. It's an imagination, just like we can imagine the best case scenario, the infinite opportunities, the life that we're freaking dreaming of. So can we imagine the worst case and the fears? So it's a choice on what you want to focus on, and what you want to train your mind to focus on a consistent base, and that is going to make it easier.
Yeah.
But it's worth, like, every brave leap I took always brought me to, holy moly, a better and a better and a better life. I always say life just keeps getting better, and I think that just comes from taking brave action.
Yeah, and I don't know how it's for you, but for me, it's also every time that there's a change coming, I'm nervous. And I think that is so normal. Like that will probably never change because we're human. It's so normal. Like once a change is coming, the nervousness is coming as well. And I heard one time a phrase that I really liked a lot. It said like, when you're nervous, it shows that your body is clapping from the inside. You know, it's
I
cheering,
love that.
cheering for you in the
Yes,
inside.
and honestly, like, also remembering, like, the mind is not here to make you happy, unfortunately. It's here to keep you surviving. And that's why it's totally, yes, like the programming, how you're literally created is to keep you surviving. And that's where this feeling of nervous and, oh my God, is it going to work out? And the sabotaging kind of thoughts come up. That's normal, but it's a matter on you training yourself, self leadership, of taking the brave action despite the fear. Again, like, it's okay. We don't have to diminish the fear. It's always going to be there, but don't give it the power.
And I think it's also a matter of like if you have a look at your inner, like everyone who is a bit into personal development might know this inner team. So you have
Mm,
like yeah, the brave one, the more curious one, the more playful one, whatever.
yes.
Then there's one that is maybe a bit more in the fear state. And if you like remind yourself, it's if it's like a little child, just hug it, take it on the hand,
Mm,
like explain
exactly.
it. Hey, this is happening right now. Don't worry. It might be uncomfortable at first, but then you will love it. Like, so I think
Mm,
really having these self talks to yourself also helps a lot because that is growing the self love as well, self acceptance, and this
yes.
realization. Let's say for a trip, like for a retreat, for instance, like in July we go to Mauritius. So that's a place from Europe where people are saying like, oh, this is far. Yes, it's far, but it's beautiful. Like once you took
Mhm.
this decision, I'm gonna go there for myself. This is so powerful. It's so powerful because it's like you gave yourself the permission to go there, and so you show yourself a value that you are capable to do it. And I think
Exactly.
this were some of the biggest shifts I had in my life, to be honest. Like when I was studying, when I was 21, studying alone in Miami for some months, and going there I was like, holy moly. And then it was just amazing, mind-blowing. Or every travel,
Mm.
solo travel, um I mean, the proudness, it's
You
hard to
become a
put it
new
in
version of
words.
yourself every time. Yeah. You leave a part of you
100%.
behind and create something new
Yeah.
aligned with where you're going. Yes.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I love that.
Nice. Thank you so much, Sina. I think we could talk for hours and hours, but I think
Yes.
we already we already touched a lot of different angles. Is there something that you would love to share with the listeners before we ending up this episode?
Honestly, just make yourself proud. Like, you're the only one you're doing it for. Whatever you want to do, you do it for yourself. Don't try to impress anyone. Don't try to follow anyone's rules.
Mm-hmm.
Really trust your own instincts, trust yourself, believe in yourself, and you're freaking capable. We are all such powerful beings. And so
Yeah.
it's just a matter of remembering that. And so go for it. And, there are so many people out there inspiring you and showing you what's possible for you. And of course, Merle as well as me, like that's even our type of work. We love to help, and so I would of course love to connect with you, listener. Um, to give inputs, and yes, but go for it. Whatever is calling you, go
Yes.
for it, and you will not regret it.
100%. Thank you so much, Sina. I'll also tag Sina's Instagram in the show notes so that guys can reach out to her. As you know, she's living in Mexico, so um, whenever you have the chance going in that area, I mean, she's there.
Yes, thank
And also
you.
online. And yeah, thank you so much, Sina. I'm so blessed that also our paths crossed. I haven't said that in the beginning, but it's like it's so crazy because we basically connected on Instagram. And I mean, we haven't met in person yet, but I feel as if I know your soul or something. Is crazy. I don't know. Like I
Hi.
feel like there's a connection somehow, even though we haven't seen each other yet in real life. I think this is gonna happen one
Yes,
day for sure
it's
as
gonna
well.
happen for sure.
Yeah, because I
Somewhere
really
in the
want to go
ocean.
to somewhere in the ocean, 100%. I mean, it's actually very funny. Last year we were at the same time in the Maldives, both like
Oh,
you
yeah,
and me.
right.
That was a
Right.
very, very special. I was like, holy moly. Because it was basically, I think, even the same days where you were on similar
Oh
island
my god,
groups than me in the
that's
Maldives
crazy.
on a group trip as well. So it is
Mm.
life is very funny sometimes. So yeah,
Oh, it's
it's
beautiful,
nice.
yes.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much for this beautiful episode, Sina. Thank you for your
Oh,
time.
thank
And
you for having me.
yeah, so enjoy
That was
listening
wonderful.
to everything.
Amazing. Thank you so much.